Good morning, my dear students. Today's our topic is the poem Once Upon a Time, which was written by Gabriel Okara. Gabriel Okara was a Nigerian poet. He is not only a poet but also a novelist. Like many other poets and writers, he loves his motherland to a great extent. He has become successful in showing the moods, sights, and sounds of Africa in his poetry. He shows a concern regarding what has happened to his culture and continent. He believes that Africa is not at all a dark country, how the world has treated it. Next, when it comes to the poem, the name of the poem is meant for comparison. Yeah, the name of the poem Once Upon a Time is meant for in general comparison. Whenever we wish to compare our present with our past, automatically we use the term once upon a time. In our childhood, our bedtime stories were begun with the phrase once upon a time. Once upon a time is meant for comparison. Our present world is full of technical changes and technical revolution. As a result of that, human values are degraded to a great extent. So, to compare the present status and scenario of human values uh, with past, we begin the comparison with once upon a time. To compare something bad with something good, we use the term once upon a time. Once upon a time, the condition was like this. Once upon a time, there were so many trees. Once upon a time, there were people who who were good at heart. In such a way, we use the term once upon a time. So, after having this discussion regarding once upon a time, we can understand why this poem has been written. Okay, first of all, I'll go through the poem. Later, we can have explanation regarding every stanza that's read. Once upon a time, once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth while their black cold while their eyes black cold eyes search behind my shadow. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but now they only laugh with their teeth while their eyes black cold eyes search behind my shadow. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but now that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts while their left hands search my empty pockets. Feel at home, come again, they say, and when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me. So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses, home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. And I have learned too to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. I have also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. Okay, we have gone through the poem. Let's have a discussion regarding each stanza. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes, but now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes, black, cold eyes, search behind my shadow. Okay, once upon a time. So here the poet requests, the poet narrates how the condition of the people in the past. They, who is they in this poem? They refer people. Once upon a time, people were not like this. There was purity in everyone. There was no dishonesty. There was no pretension in the hearts of people. So whatever they did it wholeheartedly. So in our day-to-day lives, if we come across some people, we simply laugh at them. The laugh may not have any life, but in the past, people were not like that. Wholeheartedly, they were smiling at the people whom uh, with whom they had rapport, with whom they had relations. And the feeling of their smile or their laugh was not only visible at their mouths, it was not only present at their lips, it was not only present or not only visible at their mouths, but also was found on their eyes. It means the gleam of the smile was found even on the eyes of the people. So people were not only laughing with uh, mouths but also with the eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their black cold eyes search behind my shadow. So what is the present condition? Nowadays we have only plastic smiles. People laugh in order to show their teeth. To show their teeth, people laugh. There is no life. There is no life. And then there is no honesty. There is no sincerity. So it is completely, the laugh or smile is completely full of pretension. The laugh or smile is full of pretension. So while laughing, their thoughts roam somewhere else. They smile at you and their eyes search, uh, their eyes roam somewhere. So why this fellow has come? Why has he come? Why is he talking to me? What if I talk to him? So in such a way, they go on thinking while smiling or laughing at others. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts while their left hands search my empty packets. So, even in the way of shaking hands with others in the olden days, it was genuine. People were shaking hands firmly. People were shaking hands firmly. Of course, nowadays it's not a good way of being friendly with others on account of Corona. Okay, in the olden days, people were shaking hands with others in a genuine manner. So the love and affection or the feeling that had towards others would be shown in the grip of their shaking hands. But so they were not only shaking with their hands but also with their hearts. The feeling that had in their hearts was shown in the grip of the in the grip of their hands. But what is the present condition? Without any feeling, uh, uh, without any feeling, the shake hand was offered as if it had been a pudding, as if it was as if it had been something edible. So while shaking their hands with others, they would think, what if I shake my hands with him? What if I develop my uh, relation with this fellow? What will I get if I have rapport with him? In such a way, people think nowadays. So the present generation is full of pretension. Feel at home. Come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home once, twice, there will be no thrice, for then I find doors shut on me. So these are common expressions that we hear. We may have come across we may have come across such expressions. Feel at home, come again. So in general, uh, whenever okay, whenever we are uh, met by some other people, those who are near and dear to us, they may talk to us like this. For example, if you go somewhere to study, in the same place, if you are found by uh, your neighbors in your village or some other people, those who are well known to you, they talk to you. While talking to you, they know the reason why are you there, and then they ask they tell you that whenever you are at free, you can pay a visit to their home. So at the juncture they say that. So because they have said so, if you go there, surely you will have a humiliation. So the, those expressions are there to be used, but not to put the results of that the results of such expressions into implementation. The expressions are there, they are there to be used. If anyone uses such expressions with us, we shouldn't believe such words, because because we will have an insult. So feel at home, come again, they say, and when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice. Yeah, why are you here? You have been here for a long time. You haven't even come once to our home. Why, why, why shouldn't you come once? Whenever you are at free, you just come. In such a way, some offers are given to us. If we believe and go, we will have surely uh, a kind of insult. So because they have told I have gone there, what's wrong with that? You may have such feeling, but internally they feel a lot of uh, impatience on account of your coming. So if you go there once, they may give us, they may offer us uh, a cup of coffee. If we go there twice, a cup of a glass of water will be given. If you go there thrice, on seeing you from a little distance itself, they will uh, put the bolt inside. They will close the door and put the bolt inside. That's the condition. So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces like dresses, home faces, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. So here the poet, so far the poet has narrated the reasons why he has become, and why he has, how he has been affected with the pretension of the people in the present generation. So because of being affected with such kind of attitude and mm, being a witness uh, to the dishonest ways of people, he, he says that he too has learned many kinds of pretension. He too has learnt many types of attitude, like Aparichitudu. So in the movie Aparichitudu, the hero has three kinds of behaviors, but here the poet says that he has learned too many kinds of he has learnt too many kinds of attitudes on account of the people. He says that his attitude is different when he is there at home. When he is found by someone in streets, his attitude is different. And when he is in a party, he he has another kind of behavior. So uh, wherever he is found, there is a there is a there is only one that is that's not changed. That is a plastic smile, which is always present on his face. And I have learned to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. I have also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. So the poet adds some more things that he has learned on account of the changed or transformed society. He says that he has learned how people laugh. He has learned the style of people. How do the people laugh? They laugh with their teeth. There is no that. the laugh or smile doesn't have any feeling which is visible on the eyes. Okay, and then he says that he has learnt the way how people shake their hands with others. There is no feeling, there is no wholeheartedness even in the way of shaking hands. So later he says that uh, some expressions goodbye, good riddance, glad to meet you uh, are being used in exactly opposite ways. So he says that he has learnt using those expressions in exact or precise opposite conditions. So whenever we depart from others, we say goodbye, but here goodbye is used. At last this fellow has left. At last this fellow has left me. In such a meaning, goodbye is used, and the poet also learns whenever the poet also learns using the word goodbye whenever he has such feeling. And good riddance, sorry, glad to meet you. We know when the word is used, but without being glad, without being happy when he meets someone, he starts using the same expression. And it's been nice talking to you. Whenever we are amused of, whenever we are amused of somebody's talking, we use that expression. But here he says that he has learned it when when he gets bored of somebody's talking. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows only my teeth like a snake's bare fangs. So, here, after confessing everything to his son, the poet mentions his wish before his son. The poet says that he wants to be how he was in his past. The poet wants to be pure. He wants to be pristine. He wants to be uh, pure-hearted. He wants to be his smile wants to be wholehearted. His handshake wants to be, he wants his handshake to be firm gripped. So he wants what all the things he has learnt should be forgotten. So one more thing he has added here is whenever he smiles and he finds or he looks at his smile in the mirror, he sees only his teeth because he has got accustomed of such kind of smiling. So for a long time he has seen the style of his smiling. He wants to give up the style that he has learnt because whenever he sees his teeth uh, in the mirror while smiling or laughing, to him his teeth appear as snake's fangs. Fang means the teeth of snake with which the snake bites. So, show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. Here, in the last stanza, the poet requests his son to laugh in front of him. He wants his son should laugh innocent, pure, and pristine smile, because if he smile sorry if his son smiles at him, or if his son laughs at him, he believes that he can learn the purity, he can grasp, he can perceive the uh, pristine quality of smiling. As a result of that, he believes that he will unlearn what all he has learned, and he will relearn how he used to laugh in his childhood. So, here the poet has considered his son a teacher to him. The last stanza, if we observe the last stanza, it supports, or if we observe the last stanza, it supports the quotation made by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth says, "Child is father of man. Child is father of man." So here, the child is treated as a guru by his own father. సో ఈ పోయం ఈనాటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రిటెన్షన్, నటన, హిపోక్రసీని సెటైరికల్గా విమర్శించినటువంటి ఒక పోయం. ఎలా ఉన్నారు ఒకప్పటి ప్రజలు, ఎలా ఉన్నారు ఇప్పటి ప్రజలు, ఎలా ఉన్నారు, అవకాశం దొరికితే ఇప్పటి ప్రజలు ఎలా ప్రవర్తిస్తారు, అప్పట్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రజలలో ఉన్న సిన్సియారిటీ, ఆనెస్టీ, అంటే నీతి నిజాయితీ ఇప్పటి వాళ్ళలో ఉందా, ఇప్పటి వాళ్ళు ఈ రోజుల్లో ఉన్నటువంటి ప్రజలు ఏ అవసరానికి ఆ గొడుగు పట్టేటువంటి మనస్తత్వం గలవారు అన్నటువంటి విషయాన్ని కవి ఈ ఈ పద్యంలో, ఈ పోయంలో సరళమైనటువంటి భాషలోనే మనుషుల భావాలను విమర్శనాత్మకంగా, వ్యంగ్యాత్మకంగా వర్ణించడం జరిగింది. నవ్వు దగ్గర నుండి, షేక్ హ్యాండ్ దగ్గర నుండి, వాళ్ళు మాట్లాడేటువంటి మాటల దగ్గర నుండి ప్రతి విషయాన్ని సునిశ్చితంగా గమనించి దానిని విమర్శించాడు. ఇందులో కవి తనను తాను మొత్తం ప్రస్తుత తరంలో ఉన్నటువంటి వయోజనులందరికీ ప్రతినిధిగా చిత్రీకరించుకున్నాడు. థ్యాంక్ యూ వన్ అండ్ ఆల్.